Hi, everyone. Welcome to lesson one of your program on SmartBitch University. This first lesson, we're going to go over some things you need to know to make sure that you know how to succeed at SmartBitch University and the program from here on out. I'm Gio, and I'm just going to walk you through each component of this program to make sure that you understand everything. And of course, if you have any questions, we openly invite you to ask them in the Bitchy community. But I will go over what that means in just a moment. Moving on. All right, so first things first, let's talk about the program structure. So there are three main components to this program. The first one is SmartBitch University, which is what the platform is that you are on right now. The next component is our live online group coaching element, which is hosted on Zoom. And the last element is the Bitchy community, which is our private Facebook group on Facebook. Now, as in terms of the SmartBitch University, this platform, what to expect from this platform, this is where all of the schooling content lives. So I recommend that you go ahead and bookmark this website since you'll be returning here often. This website is also Mac PC friendly. It is also mobile friendly. So if you prefer to learn on a laptop or a desktop computer, or if you like to go mobile and you want to be on your phone or a tablet, it doesn't matter. This platform will look good on either one. Now, moving on to the next point, which is the live online group coaching. Live online group coaching is hosted on Zoom with all of the other participants of this program. When you completed your purchase for this program, you were automatically enrolled in the dates for the program. And if you want more information regarding where you can find that, it will be in your confirmation email when you purchase this. However, before every live coaching session, you will receive an automated message via email and text reminding you of the time and date so that you don't have to try and remember everything. But we do recommend that you go ahead and add it to your calendar so you know what to expect for the weeks to come. You can also find the Zoom link in the email, not the text, but in the email. In order to click into these sessions, you will find the link there. Now, what to expect from the live group coaching sessions, what you will actually be doing in these sessions. This is a place for you to practice your new skills from SmartBitch University live to allow us to provide coaching and criticism. So basically, you're going to be learning on this platform, SmartBitch University, but you'll be practicing some of this stuff live so that we can see how you're doing and that we can adjust or make any suggestions or adjustments as you go so you're not on the struggle bus. We will also host a short pre-submitted Q&A towards the end to provide real-time guidance for those experiencing similar problems and anything you might be experiencing. That would be the place for you to ask the question. Now, for the Bitchy community, the third component, the Bitchy community is our private Facebook group, again, where homework participation happens. It's also the place where we will be collecting those questions for the Q&A. And this will happen approximately 2 to 3 days before. So if you have any questions that you want to ask, that's where you will submit them. You may, of course, submit them before, doesn't matter, but that is where you'll be able to submit those questions. If you do not have a Facebook, we highly recommend that you create one for your dog so you can take full advantage of this program, just to make sure that we are seeing your homework and your practice and we are able to assist you as much as possible. Moving on to the next point. All right, so how to succeed on this particular platform. I will just be talking about this browser style platform to make sure that you understand what to expect from this platform. So the first thing that you need to understand are the components of SmartBitch University and any of the programs that we provide. The first thing to know is that these programs are organized into phases. The phases are crafted. There will be main phases and bonus phases. Each main phase is set to unlock bi-weekly to give you a chance to truly focus, learn, and practice each phase's content. If you cannot enter a phase, it is because it is not available yet. Moving on from that point, the next thing to know is what is in these phases. There are lessons. Within each phase contains carefully arranged lessons. Lessons include how-to video demonstrations and topic discussions relevant to the theme of that phase. You want to be sure to complete your lessons in order so you don't get thrown off. Lessons may also include homework assignments. They may also include quizzes, useful downloadable content, and resources. So be sure that you watch and read everything so you don't miss anything. The next component to understand about SBU are the engagement points, or EP. The engagement points system is a reward system about how often that you log into the system and visit lessons each day. EP is earned 1 point at a time based on certain actions, which I'm about to go over. Here are the events that will earn you 1 EP. You will earn 1 EP if you just simply view a lesson, which can be repeated once a day, marking a lesson complete, completing all lessons in a module, and of course, completing the entire program, all lessons and modules. But again, if you continue to visit each lesson over and over, you will have the option to continue to earn EP. So if you visit a lesson 3 times in 3 days, you will get 3 EP, and I hope that makes sense. Now, on to the next portion, and the reason why these engagement points are relevant is the bonus content phases. These are extra modules designed to unlock when you earn a specific amount of EP. So bonus content may include new exercises to try with your dog, resources to assist with common behavioral problems, or maybe promo codes for our Smart Bitch merch or wolf culture or anything else that we want to give you. The bonus content is going to have some really good stuff, but you will not be able to get into the bonus content unless you do what you're supposed to do in the main phases first and you earn enough EP. So we want you to visit these lessons more than once so that you can get into that extra content, but we want to make sure that you are practicing what you're supposed to be practicing first. Moving on to the next point. All right. So some things to think about when you are in this platform and things we want you to do in order to succeed. The number one is to watch every second. Just like this video that you are watching here, most lessons will contain a video, and we do ask that you watch every second. If you need to break them up, that's completely fine. However, if you don't stay for the entirety of an explanation, you may not quite understand everything that we're talking about, or you may get ahead of yourself. We don't want that to happen. The next thing that we want to make sure that you do, and this is extremely important, is make sure that you read everything. Below these lessons will have descriptions or added notes that you will want to go over. Underneath that might be a quiz which you will need to complete, or downloadable content, or your homework assignments, which we will ask you to submit to the Bitchy community at a later time or when you get a chance. That being said, if you do not read everything, then you will not know what you're supposed to do. Also, extremely important, make sure that if you receive any emails from us, that you do read the entire email. It does have all of the instructions that you will need to get into anything that is a part of this program. So if you do not read your emails, you will probably be a little bit confused. The next thing you need to do is make sure that you try your best. And I know that this one can be tricky, especially when you're working with a teammate, aka your dog, but we want to make sure that you really give it your best shot and see where you stand. We're not asking for perfection by any means. That is the point of going through a platform like this or a program like this. However, if you don't try to put your best foot forward, you're probably never going to know where you actually stand with your dog. So make sure that you try your best and that you are participating. The last point that we want to go over is practice often. A common misconception about dog training is that this is something that you can just teach your dog once. No, this is absolutely not the case, and we want you to get into the habit of practicing with your dog often. So whatever the theme of particular phase may be, we want you to focus on those goals at hand and make sure that you are trying to practice them. We'll instruct further in other lessons what we mean by your homework assignments and how to practice things, but just know that if you don't try it ever, or if you only practice during those live coaching sessions, you're probably not going to get very far. If you have any questions in relation to practicing, make sure that you ask them in the Bitchy community. But moving on from this point, All right. The next thing that we want you to do, and we do realize that this is an online platform, so there could be room for error. So please let us know if you are experiencing any technical difficulties. Please report any technical difficulties that you might experience. If this platform falters or instructions are not clear, please do not hesitate to let us know. Taylor and I openly invite criticism, and we really need to know how you are experiencing this to make sure that you are getting the best bang for your buck, essentially. All right, so this next session, we're going to talk about how you can set up a space for your dog that is conducive for learning. So I'm not going to go over any particular behaviors in this lesson. I am merely talking about how you can set up a space so that you and your dog will succeed and that you won't end up wanting to put your head through a wall because you didn't have everything set in place first. So let's go ahead and jump right into this. All right, the first thing you need to do is please gather all necessary supplies. You do not want to prematurely start training your dog without all of the necessary tools handy. So that includes leash, a collar or a harness if that's equipment that your dog wears, 2 to 3 different types of treats, a training pouch or a fanny pack. So this is something that you would be wearing on your person, and of course the obvious one, a dog. All right, the next part of this is make sure that you set the stage. The very first thing is your training space, okay? You want to work in an open space. So if you have a living room or a dining area or kitchen area that's a little bit more wide open, that is the space that you will want to work in, something that you can move about freely as much as possible. We know that spaces can be limited, so of course, work with what you got. So if that means you need to move a coffee table and the ottomans or move a dining room table over, by all means, give yourself a space to work in. And make special note here that I am saying to clear your training space indoors. We do not want you to attempt brand new behaviors or brand new exercises outdoors because your dog will probably be too distracted, which is the next point. You need to block off distractions. We mean physically block them off if possible. So that doesn't mean that something is still in the background. No, we want to make sure that your dog's focus is on you. So if possible, we want you to physically block those off. This might mean closing a door or using a gate or a pen to remove disruptions. And also what is included under disruptions could possibly be small children or other pets. You want to make sure that you are just focused on the dog in front of you and your dog is just focused on you. You don't want too many distractions involved. Which leads me to my next point is communicate with others to not disturb you. This is also really important because others in your household can be very distracting. So we want you to communicate. If you have carved out time to work with your dog, be sure to tell everyone in your home to respect that. If they come barging in all the time, your dog won't learn anything and you will get frustrated. And the very last point is one that many people don't realize can be very helpful for them is to tether your dog near you if they are likely to wander off or get easily distracted. So do not underestimate the value of a leash. It is not just for walking your dog outdoors. If your dog is just starting out on their obedience journey, they probably don't have the attention span to hang with you yet, even if you have cheese. So get used to practicing with your dog on leash. Of course, you can always take it off later, but we want to make sure that you are setting your dog up for success so that they are paying attention to you. Moving on to the next point. All right, so this next section, I'm going to talk about how you're going to be preparing for that live group coaching element. So these are those Zoom sessions which you have already been scheduled for, which again, you can find in your confirmation email, the link for that. But also you will be receiving reminder emails and texts 24 hours before those scheduled dates, just to make sure that you know when to show up. All right. So preparing for a live coaching session, the first thing that we want you to do is to download and set up Zoom. We do have a how to Zoom link in the description below this lesson. It is a step-by-step process on how to Zoom if you have never used Zoom before. But it is really important that you go ahead and you download and you set that up. The next note that we want to mention is set up your practice space to participate. So you're going to want to clear the space and position your camera. It's very important that you understand that we need to see and we need to hear you clearly. Now, everyone coming into a Zoom session will be muted. However, there will be times where we may be asking to unmute your microphone because we need to speak to you directly. If you do not have a good sound or a good setup, we can't hear you, we won't be able to help you very well. Furthermore, we will not be able to critique you very well if we cannot see you clearly. So make sure that you figure that out ahead of time. All right. Let's see. What we want you to do, the next point, is to play with Zoom before your first live session. You do not want to waste valuable time trying to figure out the platform on the fly. And we do highly recommend that you not only download it on your computer or your laptop, but also have a backup device that also has Zoom ready to go. So a good example of this is I have Zoom on my laptop and I also have Zoom on my phone. That way, if anything runs amok, I do have a way to jump back into a call, or I am able to get in. Many times that can just mean that a battery died. And if you have a backup device, then you will have no problems going forward. Another thing that you need to be mindful of is we ask that you remember to periodically check for updates on Zoom. Zoom has updates often, and this is for security purposes, but just know that if your Zoom is not working properly, it's probably because you're running old software. You can check for updates on the startup screen. If you click on your image icon, which is usually on the upper right-hand corner, you will see a drop-down menu which will say check for updates. If you tap that, it will let you know whether or not you have an update that you need to go through with. Although you can tune in with a browser, it is not reliable. So again, we do highly recommend that you download Zoom on your computer or a mobile device to make sure that you are getting into these calls and getting them effectively. The last thing to know is you need to decide whether or not you intend to use external devices such as a TV for a bigger view and louder speakers, or AirPods for better audio and microphone quality. So a good example of this is I do have a webcam that is an external device up here, and I am also using an external microphone. And this allows me to hear everyone more clearly, and you are able to hear me more clearly. That being said, none of these things are necessarily required. It is just a matter of how you want to experience your live coaching sessions. Most often, what most people do is they hook up their laptop to their TV via HDMI. And if you do that, that will basically blow up the screen onto your TV, and it will also patch the audio through your speakers so that you'll be able to hear us in the entire room. But again, if you choose to do this, remember that if you are not using an external webcam, that you need to angle your laptop camera so that we can still see you clearly. So that might require a rather long HDMI cable to be so that you have the freedom to position your camera a little bit better. Now, in terms of those external devices, we recommend checking out our virtual accessories category in our Amazon storefront. It is under virtual needs. That category is called virtual needs. If you're looking for the link to our Amazon storefront, which just has a ton of categories of things that we recommend with any program, you can find that link for our Amazon storefront in the description below. Now let's go ahead and move on. All right. So talking about participating in the live coaching. So now you are actually in one. This is what to expect. We do ask that 15 minutes before a class starts or a session starts, that you set up your training space and tap the link to join. You will be placed in a waiting room and you will be muted, but we will see that you are waiting to be let in. So this lets us know that everyone in the waiting room is ready to get let in. This will allow us to make sure that there's nobody who's not supposed to be there, make sure that it stays a safe space, and it gives you a chance to be ready when we let you in. Now, the next step that you're going to want to do is make sure that you have gathered all supplies and you set the stage for yourself and your dog. So just like we mentioned about practicing and training your dog, you're going to want to set up your space the same way, because how you're practicing it is how it's going to happen, and that's the way that we want to see it. Your next point will be you will be asked to rename yourself in Zoom as your name in parentheses, your preferred pronouns, and your dog's name. So when you are in the waiting room, you have the ability to rename yourself, but you will also be able to rename yourself when you get into the call. If there's any confusion surrounding this, we will of course coach all of you through it, so you don't have to worry about that. But just know that that will be the first assignment upon entrance, is we do want to know your name, your preferred pronouns, and your dog's name. That way we aren't just referring to you as a random box on our screen. The last thing that, again, that we want you to know is that you will remain muted unless we unmute you manually. And we will talk to you before we unmute you. There is a chance that you may need to unmute yourself. This is because Zoom changes things often. So if that is the case, we will talk to you directly if you want to be unmuted to talk to us one-on-one. However, if we have not unmuted you, we ask that you don't unmute yourself. Do not play around with the mute functions. We will do that unless we're asking you to do it. If you do have a question and you are muted, we do ask that you use the chat functions. There's a chat function you'll be able to use through the entirety of a live coaching session, and we do ask that you use it. Don't be shy by any means. Again, we don't know if you have a question if you don't ask it, so please use that function. Moving on to our next part. Now we're going to talk about, still talking about the online stuff. You need to understand that with this program, it is one screen per participant. So we do ask that you do not share your link to get into the Zoom call unless you've gotten permission from us first. Furthermore, if you are practicing with multiple dogs, you can only call in with one device, okay? So it is one screen per dog. That being said, if you have a family or a friend who is actively involved in your dog's life, but they cannot participate for that day, but they would like to watch and listen, please contact us ahead of class and let us know so that we will allow them into the call. These people will have their cameras turned off. They will only be allowed to watch and listen. We will not be using their camera features since they will not have a dog. Also, if you are practicing with more than one dog in one space, make sure that you have plenty of space between both dogs. You may want to utilize a physical barrier and leashes. And if you are practicing with more than one dog at a time, we do ask that it is one handler per dog. Do not try to train two dogs at once because they will just end up distracting each other. Okay, now going ahead and moving on to the next part. All right, so how to succeed in the bitchy community. Let's move on from that. All right, so how do we use the bitchy community? So the first thing you need to do is join. Just do it. I know that Facebook and social media can be very daunting if you're someone who doesn't really like it. That being said, this is the place that you want to join. This is the place where you will talk to your trainers and you will have the ability to talk to each other. You may also end up missing a bunch of really great information if you are not a part of it. So just do it. Just join the bitchy community. Again, if you don't have a Facebook page, make one merely for your dog and you can delete it later. Furthermore, be sure to enable your notification settings so that you are notified of new posts. I know that every device is different, so you want to make sure that you aren't missing out on anything. Make sure that you do enable your notification settings and get you to go through that. Okay, now the next thing we want you to do is explore the bitchy community. The bitchy community has been around for quite a while, so there is a lot of really, really useful posts and files in there that might end up answering a question that you have. It's all throughout the bitchy community, so we actively invite you to scroll through, look through the files, and by all means, if you're looking for something and you can't find it, you may want to use the search function and it may help you narrow it down. If you can't find what you're looking for, then this is where you will want to pose a question, where you would post a question and let us know that you're looking for something, you're requesting information. Furthermore, this is where the homework assignments and public discussions, again, will take place. So don't be shy. We want you to post a practice video. We want you to post a funny picture. You know, if your dog is just being funny, pose a question if there's something you don't quite understand, like I just mentioned. And also, if you've seen something online and you want to share it with us, you can share it to the bitchy community and we can open a discussion about something. Just want you all to know that the smart bitches, we stick together and we're interested in what you have to say. So post it. It's social media. Don't take it too seriously, and honestly, do not overthink it. This is really important. It's social media. It's not even real. It's real, but it's not real. So don't overthink it. All right. Also, this is the place for you to submit those questions for the live Q&A. So again, approximately 2 days before a live coaching session, we will have a post running requesting those questions that you may have so that we are able to ask them. Can't stress this enough. The questions during the coaching sessions are not taken live. They are taken ahead of time. So the only way that you're going to get your questions answered is if you join the Bitchy community and you send them in ahead of time. This just allows us to control the time a little bit better. That way we're not in those calls for way too long. All right, moving on from this point. All right. This is also really, really, really important. Most importantly, this is where you will be contacting. If you need to contact us, you will contact us through the Bitchy community. This is the best way to get in touch with a trainer such as myself or Taylor. This is our preferred route for communication for our class participants, whether you pose it as a post or if you like to send us a direct message if your question is a bit more personal. You may also email us, if necessary, at team@smartbitchdogtraining.com. Again, you can also email us at team@smartbitchdogtraining.com. However, if you try to contact us outside of those avenues, your message may get lost in a sea of messages that we receive daily. So I apologize that it is a bit limited in terms of contacting us, whether it's through the Bitchy community or email, but just know that if you try to send us a text message or if you are trying to get in touch with us through Instagram or any other medium, it's probably going to end up getting lost because we get so many inquiries every day. And I swear, I'm trying not to toot our own horn or anything. It is the honest truth. We want to make sure that your question is seen and that we are able to talk to you when you are requesting that. Furthermore, again, we want you to do it through the Facebook group, but if you must email us, that is fine. Just know that email responses can happen a little bit later, so you will not get an instant answer or a faster answer as if you had posed it on Facebook to begin with. All right, so moving on from this point, that's pretty much it. That is everything you need to know about this program, things you need to know to go forward. So go forth and be great. Make sure that you read the description below to understand what your homework is. And again, you can revisit this as often as you want. We're so excited to have you, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of this program. See ya.